Welcome back from the short break, and now we're going to hear more about what insurance penetration is all about and why is it struggling in our country. So over to you, Ivan. What exactly do you mean by insurance penetration? And what is your comment about the current less than 1% rate or figure?
Thank you, Emmanuel. Indeed, when you talk about insurance penetration, you are trying to say the total revenue that has been generated within the insurance sector. How does it compare to what we call the gross domestic product, the GDP of the country?
Okay.
So in essence, you're trying to say what's the contribution of the insurance sector to the economy, the entire performance of the economy. I would say our penetration as an insurance sector is still low. We are below 1%. And indeed, this penetration is driven by a number of factors, exogenous factors that are beyond the control of the sector and the regulator. For instance, aspects of poverty. Because if the poverty is in the country and that impacts on the uptake of insurance, then that is beyond the control of the regulator. So such factors, because you're trying to look at insurance and compare it to all the other sectors within the economy, I think that has impacted on the actual penetration rate. There are factors that are beyond the control of the regulator. For the factors that are within our control, for instance, improving awareness about insurance, the number of campaigns that we are doing, and other factors, ensuring that the local content provisions are adhered to when ensuring the huge projects in the country. Those we have done a lot to ensure that they are adhered to. But there are other factors beyond the control of the regulator which have negatively impacted on our rating around insurance penetration. But basically, for the factors that are within our control, there's a lot that is ongoing. So I would say we are below 1%, but to be specific, you would say we are at 0.79% insurance penetration. Okay. And we hope that as the economy grows, so will the insurance penetration grow. Thank you.
I have to add that, yes, that rate has come down from 0.85, I think,
okay,
to 0.7 something, possibly because of this COVID time. But I think it also reflects where our economy is. Possibly we're in depression because we have not embraced insurance as well. There are lots of risks that are happening and business are going down whenever they get any simple shock. Yet they could have bounced back if they had embraced insurance. You have something else to add?
Maybe also there were changes, what we call the rebasing of the GDP figures. Because there were certain sectors that were not in the past included in the GDP computations. But when they did the rebasing of the GDP figures, it also had a negative impact around the GDP and the penetration.
When did they rebase GDP figures?
GDP could have been around 2016, there was a rebasing of around that time. Okay. So it also had an impact on the penetration.
Okay.
However, we can note that it's below 1% and efforts are underway to ensure that penetration improves over time.
All right, thank you, Ivan. Yes. What about insurance claims payment? Yes. How does that sheet look like compared to the last 10 years?
I would say there are improvements in terms of claim settlement. Overall, 10 years ago, the industry was settling about 82 billion in claims. In 2021, we are looking at over 564 billion shillings in claims that were settled by the sector. So there's a tremendous improvement around claim settlement, but also we'll look at the efforts that the regulator has done to put service level standards, that's the claim settling guidelines, that provide different timelines for settling different claims,
okay,
as well as aspects to do with the complaints handling. We now handle complaints faster and resolve them faster, and also issue our directives for settlement quite faster. So these are key aspects that have helped us in ensuring that public confidence is improved, and then claims are also respected and honored.
Very quickly there on claims, when you mean fast, can you give us scenarios? Are there tiers or levels that if you have claims less than, say, 1 million, they should take so long?
Yeah, based on the claims guidelines, a claim of 10 million and below, the standards require that they should be settled within 5 working days.
Okay.
Those are 5 working days after submission
of everything,
of all the pertinent documents. Because there's also a tendency of saying 5 working days, but the claimant is yet to submit. Here we are saying, once you submit all the pertinent documents that support the claim settlement, then within 5 working days, a claim of 10 million should be settled. Then there are also timelines for claims beyond the 10 million, but these are all stipulated within the claim guidelines.
Okay, we appreciate that. And maybe I need to put this disclaimer on issues of claims. As the regulator has mentioned, stipulated very clearly, the client, actually the burden of proof lies with you, the insured, the policy owner, or the client. So make sure you make life easy for yourself and also for the insurer to process your claim faster. You know, so if they require police reports, if they require any evaluations that were supposed to have been carried out, please submit them on time so that this whole process, you help all this process. So thank you for this issue of claims. We shall, I'm sure, be responding or hosting some of people, some of the claimants who have benefited. How long did they benefit? And yes, there are guidelines for the whole industry, but I know various insurance players also have their own standards. So we shall be hearing from them. And you players out there, please be comfortable to come out and assure your clients and prospective clients out there how soon or how effective your service is going to be from the rest. Now, lastly, how do you see how do you envision the insurance industry in the next 5 years? And what are the major transformations the public should look out for?
We see that in the next 5 years, we've projected the industry to grow further over the next 5 years. We are working on regulating oil and gas. Obviously, once oil and gas starts, then there will be a big boom in terms of the premium generated by the industry. So that will then ensure that the industry grows. The local marine uptake, starting July, we see that also marine insurance premiums will go up. We also see that for motor third party, there will be increased uptake on third party. Those are key areas that we see that will be heavily impacted. We see that we are trying to work on the national insurance policy, which will be a government policy that will guide insurance in the country. So once that is approved by government, then it will also drive aspects of insurance and risk management within government. Okay. So over the next 5 years, there are aspects around product innovation. We've provided a space and an enabling regulatory environment for product innovation, including the issue of the sandbox where they can test new ideas. So the industry is projected to grow over the next 5 years with the good leadership of the team at IRA.
Yes.
The management team. Yes.
And of course with your stakeholders, of which I know you have talked about governance.
True.
And you have spoken about local content. Please address to the issue of, I remember in the past, some of us who have been in the industry for some years, there were lots of expatriates coming in to manage these insurance companies. Going forward, is there any kind of policy around that area? Who is running the insurance companies, how many expatriates are supposed to be there so that they can develop capacity for the local ones?
Yes, even for oil and gas, which is a new area, local content is one of the key requirements. Yes. How we need that knowledge to be passed on to the Ugandans so that there is a transition. We also issued specific directives around employment of the non-Ugandans, and we are still enforcing the same as a regulator. And we see that this has provided, at least from what we see currently, it has provided an opportunity for the Ugandans to also be considered for some of these positions within the insurance sector. Okay. So I would not be specific in terms of the numbers, but I would say, yes, there is a positive trend in terms of ensuring that there is skills transfer to Ugandans. And as we move forward, Ugandans are in a better position to serve the country and the industry. Yes.
Thank you so much. You know, you have mentioned local content, you have mentioned the oil, which final investment decision came out in February 2022. Now we have talked about the Local Marine Insurance Act being effected 1st of July 2022. Actually, it has been on, but it has been on pilot project from, I think, December or last year, 2021, up to June. So now going forward, 2022, it's going to be enforced by URA and IRA plus the local insurance players. So these are things that we have heard from the regulator, Insurance Regulatory Authority, directly. So let's embrace them and know that this is actually for the betterment of the whole industry, but plus the whole country, because we are now going to manage our risks better, and with the support, of course, of the technical people at the Regulatory Authority. We have the whole actuary manager and risk. So these guys are the ones who sit and create all these tables. We hear mortality tables, we hear the risk projections or risk coverage all over. So Ivan, you have really been very generous to us with all this time for these last 2 episodes. Give us some parting shots for the people watching the show. Yeah, and any closing remarks. Yeah, and then remind the people of what you do here. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel. I implore the public to take on insurance as a preferred risk mitigation measure It is very key that you mitigate the risks that you're exposed to in whatever business, entity, or household. That is very key to ensure that once these risks occur, you are not left in a very undesired position. So insurance is no longer an option, but is quite necessary as you progress. I would, in the event that you want to get in touch with us, we are available on social media, IRA Uganda, that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and so on. We have a website, www.ira.go.ug. We also have a toll-free number, 0800-124-124. And we also located at Lumumba Avenue at the insurance tower. So you can get in touch with us in case of a query, an inquiry, complaint, etc. We are ready to serve you, and we wish you the very best. Thank you.
Your name?
Ivan Kilameri, once again. I work as Manager Risk and Actuarial at IRA. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ivan. Thank you so much, IRA. We are going to put, I think you are seeing them, the contacts of the regulator. I can't add anything that the regulator has mentioned, because these are the things that we've been laboring to tell you about, but now we're getting the regulator to also come out and add a voice on what I started. Remember, I started this because it was a testimony to my own life. I benefited from insurance. I want to bring more beneficiaries of insurance to you to give you that confidence that indeed this is something that benefits and solves a lot of issues. There are so many other discussions we shall be bringing to you. And yes, I would like to sign out. I'm Emmanuel Sanisafali, bringing you the Promise Show. Please subscribe to our channel, the Promise Insurance Show, on YouTube. On Twitter, it is the Promise Insurance Show. So everywhere, whether on Facebook, look out for. Please remember to give us some feedback in the comment section below. Remember to tune in to the button so that we are subscribed and we get this information out. Tell your friends out there to watch these episodes so that they get more sensitized, they get encouraged and inspired to take the next step, insurance-wise and financial-wise. Better to prepare for the worst, but while hoping for the best. I am Emmanuel Sansafari. See you next time.